don't be uptight then, this is no fright. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good evening, good morning. Hello, my tunker.
Yo, Straga, why are you so dramatic?
I need to call Tsepo's mom. Good evening. Hi, am I speaking to Ms. Twala? Yes, ma'am, this is Mr. Strauss from Greenside High School. Yes, ma'am, I just wanted to call you because an incident transpired today at school. Yes. Okay, ma'am, hope to see you soon. Bye. Right, done. Katleho muna rin. I don't call this child right now. I'm going to give birth to a hippo. Can I call it?
Yeah, right.
He's so cute, you know? A, B, C. Ooh, it's kind. The code. Right. Now, this is something I don't understand. Okay, wait. You wake up. You bath. You eat. Well, that's if you have something to eat. Then you come to school. Now, hold up. To sleep.
I've told you in class, this is not grade 7. You cannot afford to sleep in class. You're going to fail the year.
Then wait, you want to come to my office and I must give you a tissue for your issues. Sorry. Who said I'm done? Are you making a tuck shop out of money?
Take, here's your late note. Go to class.
Sorry, ma'am. Sorry, sir.
Good afternoon, grade 9s.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, grade 9.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Right. The first thing I want you guys to do is take out your flip files and turn to communication. Right. This newsletter you're about to... Okay, wait. I will not carry on with this assembly until everyone stops fidgeting. Tamiz, sit up. Boy, pelong tambo, face the front, your future's in front of you.
Right, grade 9. One thing you need to understand is that if you get sent to our office and find yourself in a disciplinary hearing, we will not defend you.
And I tell you multiple times, the waiting area
Is not your friend.
Right. Detention for today. Sandile Quindi. Demise Gone. Tsepo Twala. Right, academic detention. Dylan Wall. Enrique. Then, can I please see the following learners after grade assembly? Sithen Dlovu, Sandile Quindi, Tsepo Twala, and Samkelo Kabinde. Right. Good afternoon, grade 9s.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, grade 9.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Today was chaotic.
I still have to go to a senior leader meeting right now at 4, and still a governing body meeting at 7.
I'm sorry.
I can't.
I can't. So, just remind Strada that on Tuesday I have a nail appointment until 3. So I'm leaving straight after that.
Zogs, hug me.
But I just hugged you.
No, you didn't.
Thank you, grade 9s. That was absolutely priceless and quite terrifying. I don't think there's a thing about us that you don't notice. Good evening, parents, staff, and grade 9 learners. In September this year, you received a letter composed by Mr. Santos, Mr. Strauss, and me, informing you of developments and subsequent changes that are to affect your grade. The letter invited you to attend tonight's valediction service, and we thank you for taking the time to be here. Change can be very stressful and difficult, and is often resisted and resented at first. But by the close of tonight's function, I feel confident that you will start turning towards the following fundamental truth about change, as expressed by the renowned author Paulo Coelho, who writes, "When we least expect it, life sets us a challenge to test our courage and willingness to change. At such a moment, there is no point in pretending that nothing has happened or in saying that we are not yet ready. The challenge will not wait. Life does not look back." The letter to which I referred did not go into personal details as to the circumstances behind the changes coming about. It is my role tonight to reveal, or rather clarify these, because as you see, your children know everything. Let me start with the changes in Mr. Santos's life. First, she got happily married in December last year. The second change is not such a happy one, for us at least. Ms. Dos Santos and her husband are going to immigrate to Australia in the course of 2018. Ms. Dos Santos is a consummate professional, and this is borne out in the way she has dealt with this pending event in her life. She let me know tirelessly, and as she always has had your and the school's best interests at heart, she cannot, in good conscience, fulfill the pivotal role of grade head when her departure is imminent. Mr. Santos knows you all very well, and she's fully aware that a meticulous and unrushed handover to her successors is of critical importance. Mr. Santos will use all the time left in this year and what is there for her in 2018, as there is no exact date confirmed for her departure, as is invariably the case with immigration, to ensure a smooth transition for you from grade 9 to grade 10 and the FET phase. In the case of Mr. Strauss, he applied for the position of deputy head, which became available this year. It is no secret that Mr. Strauss has made a significant impact from the day he joined the school in 2015. That he has invaluable skills, coupled with a willingness to invest all his time and energy in his quest to add value to the school, and by so doing, improving the school experience for our learners. As deputy head, Mr. Strauss's focus shifts to other portfolios, not least of which is the deputy in charge of your grade in 2018. So as I believe Mr. Strauss has already warned you, ever so lovingly of course, that his promotion further empowers him in his interactions with you. Therefore, tonight, while it is a valediction or farewell to the familiar and the comfortable, we are moving on. Neither Mr. Santos nor Mr. Strauss is vanishing. They are still going to be your North Star for as long as fate and circumstances allow. The lessons and values they have instilled in you cannot be taken away from you. Only you have the choice to continue to live up to them or not. And in my role as principal, as long as I am here, I will do everything in my power and within my control to retain and appoint the best possible educators to take care of you in and out of the classroom. Thus, it is with pleasure that I confirm your grade heads for 2018. The program gives it away a little bit, but not everything. To Ms. Bierkes and Ms. Powell-Venter, congratulations. Years and years and years in this profession has taught me that it doesn't matter how much experience you may have, what is of far more importance are qualities that these two ladies exhibit. And that is their commitment, which is evident from the start, their passion, and their strength of character. So I'm very confident that you are in good hands going forward. Thank you.
Mr. Santos, Mr. Strauss, Ms. Bierkes, and Mr. Powell, grade 9 parents and learners. It's a rare opportunity granted to me tonight, not to cajole you about paying your school fees. Although I know that you'll all be back next week, about the same time, same place, to hear about how your money has improved the school this year and what our plans are for next year. Tonight, I'd like to focus on another area of governance, and that is equally important to collecting school fees, and that is strategic development and planning. As important as it is to budget, it is equally, if not more important, to have a vision as to where the school will be in the future. Sometimes these plans are thrown a curveball by legislation, political shifts, and individual ambitions. But a governing body always has to plan ahead and to ensure that effective learning and teaching happens. The starting point for strategic planning is not the present, but the future, a vision of where you want to be. It is essential that the vision is based on the guiding philosophy, core beliefs, and purpose of our school. Greenside High School is blessed with an insightful and intuitive principal in Ms. White, who has the unerring instinct for forward planning. And this strength makes the job of developing a strategic plan that much easier. Our school continues to grow in learner numbers and in the range of subject choices that our learners choose for matric. We're one of the few schools who don't restrict children's choices. This means that we need more educators to ensure that our children benefit to the full. So that, together with the need to look to future management within the school, bringing in new perspectives and fresh ideas and energy, the governing body appointed 2 new deputies this year. And I think from your experience over the last 2 years, you will agree, as Ms. White has said, that Mr. Strauss has the skills and potential to take on those responsibilities. We all have dreams and plans for our future, and as much as we would like to hold on to those exceptional educators that touch our lives, we do have to respect and honor their visions for themselves too. And I know that Mr. Santos will continue to inspire young minds wherever she goes. As a team, Mr. Strauss and Mr. Santos have set a very high standard, and I am confident that the new grade heads, Ms. Bierkes and Ms. Powell, will continue to make sure that your children get the same level of attention. I have no doubt that they will all work together to ensure that the transition causes as little disruption as possible. And rest assured, your children will be taken care of as they enter the last phase of their schooling career. A special thank you to all the grade 9 parents who've been so involved and supportive, not only of the grade heads, but also of our school. And oh yes, please don't forget that AGM next week.
Grade 9s, I did prepare you that it's going to be long. So please bear with me. For every action,
There's a reaction.
if you know better,
You do better.
what's good for the goose?
It's good for the gander.
Good evening, Ms. White, our principal, Ms. Myatt, chairperson of the governing body, esteemed colleagues, parents, and grade 9 learners. The above-mentioned values that you heard a moment ago are just some of the many values Mrs. Dos Santos and I tried to instill in our children from when they first arrived here at the beginning of 2016. Just about 2 years have gone by, and we cannot believe that our term in office has gone by so quickly. It is indeed with happy hearts that we are entrusting your well-being into the hands of your new grade heads, Ms. Bierkes and Mrs. Powell-Fenter. Mrs. Dos Santos and I have no doubt in our minds that you, the new grade heads, will support you grade 9 learners, guide you and encourage you to reach your full potential. Both Mrs. Dos Santos and I have worked closely with Ms. Bierkes and Ms. Powell on several occasions and in many, if not all interactions we've had with them. It became evident that these two educators share the same vision we have for the learners at our school. Ms. Bierkes and Ms. Powell-Fenter, Mrs. Dos Santos and I wish you everything of the best for the way forward. May you share many happy moments together, and may you be inspired by these learners as they have inspired us. Mrs. Dos Santos and I often find ourselves having deep conversations about our children, often unintentional. And as we prepared for tonight, we had a good laugh, reminiscing and sharing some of our fondest memories we have shared with you. Allow me to touch on a few. Upon your arrival at welcome morning back in your grade 7 here, we were already familiar with your faces, but didn't know all your names. We can clearly remember you listening attentively to Mrs. Brummer as she gave you your first high school talk. It was within an instant that you wanted to kill yourselves laughing as she pulled out an old, small, little chatterbox excuse for a phone as she suggested that this is the phone you bring to school as you may lose your cell phone. Your laughter was contagious and I couldn't help but to laugh low-key. December 2015 was intense for both Mrs. Dos Santos and me. Being the perfectionists we strive to be, we wanted to get most of the orientation week's planning done before we spent some quality time with our families during the December break. I personally couldn't wait to get back to Joburg from the Cape to get the new year started. Both Mrs. Dos Santos and I were so excited to get back, and before we knew it, the first morning of the orientation program began. We will never forget how some of you were holding on to your moms and dads. You didn't want to let go of them. how petrified you were of the senior leaders, and how small and cute you were. We also remember how some of you looked at us wearing our branded t-shirts, Mama Zogs and Papa Strikes, probably asking yourselves, what are these people thinking? Mama and Papa, have they lost their marbles? My mom and dad are going to pick me up after school, and then I will tell them about these mad greyheads who want to take my mom and dad's place. Like never. Although you were absolutely terrified of the substantial change taking place in your life, we could also see young, passionate learners who were enthusiastic and ready to make their individual mark at Greenside. Mrs. Dos Santos and I were already proud parents after the first day of orientation. We left the school with warm hearts and couldn't wait for the next day to continue with the orientation program. After a long, tiring orientation, we then wanted you to make your mark here at Greenside by planting a tree. The significance of planting this tree was for you to realize that you are now part of the Greenside community, and with that comes certain responsibilities. Above and beyond that, the tree planting ceremony was also a critical part of your individual self-development. As you planted the tree, you were asked to make a solid promise to yourself, a promise that you would fulfill no matter the circumstance. The tree is your anchor, my children. When days are grey and you feel like you just cannot carry on, go back to the tree. Re-evaluate. Remember the promises you made, and then pull yourself towards yourself and keep walking in honor of fulfilling those promises you made to yourself. Over the past 2 years, you have really made us proud, sometimes to the point where we would shed a tear as we celebrated your success behind closed doors. How can we ever forget the sight of you rushing to grade assembly, listening attentively to the various instructions we would give, and then never disappointing us as you executed those instructions? You warmed our hearts at Pro Optimus at the beginning of the year, where you, as a grade, received so many awards for both academic and service to the school. Your self-discipline never ceased to amaze us. Thank you for being an example to the rest of the school. Mrs. Dos Santos and I beamed with joy on numerous occasions when you, grade 9s, proved to us that you wanted to make us proud. You thrived for excellence. This became evident when the robotics team went overseas and when some of you made it through to the final round of ACT. You are so special. Even when your peers were sick, you assisted them to get to our office or to the sick bay. You never settled when it came to achieving merits. Your hunger for success motivated us to do a little bit more for each and every one of you. And although it may be a little bit difficult and harder to accumulate the merits in the FET phase, always aim for maintaining that standard. Grade 9s, imagine this. Let me sketch a scenario for you. A young gentleman who has just qualified from university attends an interview. As he walks into the interview room, he has his hands in his pockets, chewing gum with an open mouth. His nails are not cut neatly, his shirt not tucked in, and his hair not brushed. In other words, he just does not look presentable. You and I both know that this is a very poor reflection on this specific candidate, and I'm almost certain that the interviewing panel will think at least 7 times before appointing this young man, because first appearances count. Long story short, your university degree may give you a foot in the door, but impressing your interviewers is the only way you'll really score. Mrs. Dos Santos and I always had your best interest at heart, And so we decided to instill 10 values, the 10 pillars of our school, so that these may guide you, not only through high school or your teenage years, but also through every avenue you experience throughout your life. Remember these 10 pillars, and you will be successful. Take pride in yourself, and always make a point of reminding yourself that manners maketh a man or woman. Parents, Mrs. Dos Santos and I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for entrusting your children in our care. Thank you for your unwavering support. We took on the role as your children's parents here at school, and it was an absolute privilege to mentor and guide them. We tried our level best to act in the best interest of your children at all times. Thank you for sharing our vision and assisting us in molding our children as we try to empower them so that they are equipped with the necessary life skills to be independent and self-aware. Sometimes we had to act on discretion and instinct. Then thank you for respecting us in that regard. Grade 9s, you may not necessarily like the school. You may not necessarily like the rules and regulations of the school. Truth be told, it will be a part of you forever. Always remember that the school is laying your foundation. These corridors that you walk on today will be the corridors that lead you to your success tomorrow. When you speak about Greenside, speak about it in a positive light. Be proud of being a Greensider and always hold the school's best interest at heart. My children, don't forget where you come from. And when the opportunity arises, come and give back to your school. The next phase of your life promises to be exciting. Your grade 10 camp, senior leader induction and camp, and your matric dance all takes place within the next 3 years. Some of you will then go to university or college, and then you will be introduced to the real world. Enjoy every moment of it. And as you go forth into each of these phases of your life, our wish is that you be supportive of each other, care for each other, make us proud, show the world you've got the fire. Mrs. Dos Santos, you are my definition of perfect. You are once, twice, 3 times a lady. Thank you for all the support over the past 2 years. I believe that you were the glue that stuck all of us together so that we operated as a unified whole, a team, a family. Behind every successful man is a lady. My Zoggy, I could never have done this without you. You have been more than just a colleague and a co-grade head to me. You are now one of my closest friends, my confidant, my anchor. I love you dearly, and I pray that God blesses you and your husband abundantly. And if I can please ask Fulufelo and Ayanda to come up to please hand over a token of our appreciation to our mother, Mrs. Dos Santos. Let's give ma'am another round of applause. Grade 9s, this is our last formal assembly together, and so I would like to share certain extracts of the poem entitled, "You Are a Child of the Universe." You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is not clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. If you compare yourself to others, you may become vain and bitter, for always there will be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Go placidly, amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. Beyond a wholesome discipline, be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God. Whatever you conceive Him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations, in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its shame, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful, strive to be happy. Be yourself. Especially, do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love. For in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Grade 9s, our children, thank you for supporting us in all our endeavors. Thank you for respecting us. Thank you for allowing us into your lives and hearts. We would also like to thank you for all your smiles, hugs, and laughs shared in our office, our classrooms, on the netball court, and in the drama rehearsal venues. Thank you for seeing us as your parents. We will never forget you. All our love, Mama Zogs and Papa Strikes. Fatima and Zahir, please come up to the podium to share a few words with us.
Good evening, Miss White, guardians, parents, grade 9 learners, and grade heads new and former. Mr. Strauss told us articulately that he and Mr. Santos, after 1 year, 9 months, and I think lots of hours and many more seconds and minutes, that they are giving us up for adoption. And so, this is it, D-Day. The day we will all remember as the day we are cast onto the wayside, as we are kicked to the curb, dumped like yesterday's leftovers, thrown into the unfriendly waters of high school, and cast adrift without a Zogs and Struggle paddle. This news came after a long, evasive talk of how Papa Struggs and Mama Zogs were moving onto greener pastures. Sorry, Mr. Santos, to me, you'll always be Mama Zogs, because Mama de Santos doesn't have the same ring to it. I still remember orientation week, when I sat at the back of the gym and listened to a scary bald man who strode and bounced in front of us when he wanted to put emphasis on things and thinking, geez, and I thought high school was supposed to be fun. As time went on, Mr. Santos taught me English. She played our Shakespeare, brought poetry alive, and taught us how to tell our own stories and to go anywhere in the world by putting pen to paper. I guess everyone goes through struggles in high school, and when I did, I had the most amazing woman help me. No matter how busy she was, she always took the time to listen, help, and heal. Ma'am, one day you'll be an amazing mother if you raise your kids the way you raised us over the last 2 years. This year, I had the immense privilege of being taught by a man who made me love drama and acting with the same passion that he does. He made me confident to be who I am and to think and dream of how one day I can change the world. I never understood when teachers said that we were like their children, and I assure you, the feeling was never mutual. But with these two individuals, a perfect match in my eyes, I have to say that they are like my parents. I promise that every bit of respect you might have for us, some of us have tenfold that respect for you. Another one of the many things I learned from Mr. Strauss and Mr. Santos is that you must never give up because you always have someone backing you. I learned how it feels to talk to someone about an important issue and knowing that you are getting the respect you deserve even though you are a child. I know how to say enthusiasm with enthusiasm. I also learned from endless lectures. Face the front, your future is in front of you, you must move forward. And that is exactly where these two talented people are going. We love you and we're going to miss you, Mama Zogs and Papa Strauss.
I will not speak until I have everyone's eye contact. You are expected to face forward, your future's in front of you, not behind you. Stop fiddling. I cannot deal with the self-centeredness. Great, now we can get started. Good evening, learners, parents, and teachers. I am Zahir, and I pride myself in being one of Mrs. Dos Santos' most annoying children. Zayn and I try our very best to chat to ma'am every second day, sometimes twice a day. Our conversations are usually filled with ridiculous questions, so much so that ma'am is eventually pushing us out of a classroom. Even on those Saturdays, when we were at school doing something to please our grade heads, we make sure ma'am sees us before anything else. Now parents, those Saturdays, when we were at school, I'm sure it brings up terrible memories for you. Something you dreaded when your child said it. When you had to wake up early on a Saturday to take your child to school. On a Saturday. To us, we call it team building. For us, besides the actual team building, it was the only time we've ever seen our grade heads relaxed. Yes, it's true. It was the first time we could have fun, or should I say have a lax attitude. And they were okay with it. We are here tonight, not so that they can show us embarrassing pictures, but to appreciate them finally moving on. No, it's because we're happy for them. Ever since that day, when we walked into the gym and saw the horrific t-shirts, Mama Zogs and Papa Strauss, we arrived thinking high school teachers were big and scary, but went home realizing our grade heads were embarrassing and comical. They don't call us Mr. Strauss's minions for nothing. They were also extremely strict when someone walks in class and says, Mr. Strauss is looking for you. The class goes dead quiet. And every child thinks, what did I do? You spend the walk to the office thinking of all the possible conversations he could have with you, good or bad. With that said, they've always been there for us. When some of us had trouble with a bad breakup, when some of us had trouble with school, and when some of us just needed someone to talk to. To Mr. Strauss, we hope you fulfill your duties as a deputy. We also hope you forget our names so you can't issue us with deputy emails. We'd like to thank you for being so enthusiastic, with emphasis on enthusiastic. We're sure you can direct the school into the right place. To Mrs. Dos Santos, thank you for being our mother. We thank you for forgiving us when we called you Masogbi after you got married. We thank you for signing us out when we were sick. To our new grade heads, welcome to the family. You've received the full package. Rolling eyes, shrugging shoulders, combs in the pocket, rubbish in the ears, lax attitude, but most importantly, you've gained us. Have fun. Good luck. We'll see you next year. Mr. Strauss, aka Mrs. Dos Santos' work husband, Mrs. Dos Santos, aka Mr. Strauss' work wife. Read my lips. I'm speaking in capital letters. We will miss you. Don't miss us too much. Don't miss us too much though. We're gonna be by your doorstep anyway. We wish you well. P.S. Masobi, don't get an Australian accent. Your Afrikaans is already terrible.
Good evening, everyone. Before we move on with our program, I would just like to take this opportunity at the mic to thank my co-grade head, my strugger, as I affectionately call him, for being by my side in this venture for the last 2 years. I cannot believe that just over 2 years ago, around about this time, we were working tirelessly to welcome our new grade 8 babies to Greenside High School. We had very ambitious desires to fulfill, and the yearning to thrive in these new roles as mama and papa. I think Mr. Strauss will agree with me when I say that neither of us could ever have anticipated that we would work so well together. Mr. Strauss, I finally realized why our dynamic is so effortless. It's because we're like one person. We often operate from the same mind, and more importantly, we always operate from the same heart. Someone once said, it is easier to build a strong child than it is to repair a broken adult. Grade 9s, this is the only thing that we've ever tried to do with you. You have been privileged to fall under the wing of such an incredible educator, leader, and human being, Mr. Strauss. I've never met anyone as driven or as passionate as you are. He truly eats, breathes, and sleeps for Greenside and each and every child in his care. Mr. Strauss, there's never been an action that you've performed, a thought that you've processed, or an initiative that you've mobilized that has not had our learners' best interest at heart. Similarly, it has been my honor to work with you. You have listened to me, supported me, and trusted my instincts. Thank you for teaching me so much, both in a professional and personal capacity. It's very difficult to put into words what you actually mean to me. Your dynamic nature resulted in many inappropriate hugs, as you just witnessed, many manic laughs, and several I can't moments. But, Mr. Strauss, with this and with you, this school and these learners and I will forever be changed. On behalf of myself and the grade 9s, just know that you have imprinted yourself in our hearts and you will remain there for a very long time to come. So grade 9s, please join me in thanking your Papa Strugger for his time and energy and love and guidance over the last 2 years. More than once. Like I said to us, you're definitely his children. So dramatic. All right, so now on to the more light-hearted part of the evening. Grade 9s, we are shifting our attention to you. Our children. If I can ask Mr. Strauss and Ms. Palfenter to join me up on stage. Alright, so grade 9s, you know that every single term, since the beginning of grade 8, you received a positive letter from us, and it was something that recognized a commendable quality in you. Tonight, we are going to award you with something a little different. For the last 2 years, we have watched you. We've watched you in the classrooms, we've watched you on the fields, on the courts, at break. And with your peers. And tonight, we are going to recognize you for your individuality and how it has manifested before our eyes over the last 2 years, and in very special and unusual ways. So you will be receiving, every single one of you, will be receiving a remembrance certificate. And it took Mr. Strauss and myself a very long time to go through each and every one of you. And we feel like it's important for you to know that we will remember you for your mannerisms, the little memories that we share with you, and your anecdotes. And so we will always cherish them. And I hope that in a few years, when you look at these certificates, you are flooded with love and happiness and good memories of your first few years of high school. So I'm going to read out the learners' names. If I can ask the audience to just hold your applause until the end of each group of learners. And yeah, we're going to start. So grade 9s, can I please call up Tasneem Adams, Zach Adams, Khaled Aiden, Mashama Ahmed, Subaya Akhtar, Stephanie Akanlabi, Riley Alexander, Irtiza Ali, Iman Ali, and Bibasha Ambalal. Right, Tasneem Adams, the most likely to become a school principal. Zach Adams, our mini Ronaldo. Khaled Aiden, the most random question asker. Mashama Ahmed, the best smile. Sumaya Akhtar, our athletic star. Steph Akanlabi, the best hugs in the whole world. Riley Alexander for being the best learner to roll up her blazer sleeves. Irtiza Ali, our aspiring cricketer. Iman Ali, the best conversationalist. And Bibasha Ambalal for being like her father, very meticulous.
Fatima Aref, most convincing politician. Kaylee Bartlett, slowest walker. Mikhail Bam, our gentle giant. Ria Bula, resident makeup artist. Liam Black, always, as you can see, taking pride in his appearance. Babesh Brambat is in his absence. Ubaidullah Brown, our most reliable USB. Samir Kaji. Samir Kaji, best handshake according to Mr. Strauss. Tariq Karam for greeting us 105 times a day. Ma'ara Kasim for always needing stationery. Muhammad Kasim for being the most driven. Leila Chamai, the most changing hairstyles. Jaden Chetty, we like your shoes, Jaden. Awakila Chikapapiri, who's in his absence. Sandile Kinzi, the best Kwaito star. the best giggle, and she does it often. Tyler Cryer in his absence. D.A. Dave, the most inquiring mind. Some of the questions this child asks, I don't know where he gets them from, but he's interested. Neha Daya, the loudest class greeter. Ria Dayalji for being such a lady. Kutlwano Dlamini, the most unique walk. Tamim Ibrahim, the most unique voice. Pelo Fayin Lala, the most humble. Jade Fowler, the best grade 9 baker. Sebastian Francis, the most charming. Taylor Gabriel's not tested. Shale Gallen, the best key breaker. She broke my key in my classroom door and didn't know how to tell me. Alia Ganshi for her very quiet strength. Abdul Gangat for finally choosing to stay with us. Hey, we were so happy that you stayed. Behind Ginster, the best accents, and he uses it all the time. Ethan Govender, the most expressive when he talks. Everything moves. Nostrils, eyebrows, cheekbones. Carl Grobler for having a bag heavier than what he is. Keisha Gumede for being our spinach and feta Keisha. Salisha Guabini, as you saw her tonight on stage, the best pretend teacher. Yusuf Hafaji, the most respectful learner. Hamad Haji, the most cryptic, I'm sorry boy, most cryptic handwriting you have ever seen. Yasin Hassan for getting 650,000 merits. Right, Tertian Heldsinger for the most attentive listener. Tyler Hendricks, we definitely see him as an aspiring director. Joseph Halsenbeck, hands down, best Afro. Caitlin Jacobs, being neat as a pin, always. Kristen Jacobs, the best Greenside supporter. You find her at every game, every event, every place festival, she's there. Neil Jadav, our best tech guru. Caitlin Johnson van Sale for laughing at everything. Sasha Joseph for always being hungry. Always. And Mohammed Kadwa, I don't know what it is, it doesn't matter what he says, but he is the class comedian. Mohammed Kai for our resident karate kid. Dean Kamsate, everything is so poetic. Fatima Karani for her gentleness. Arman Katkoria for being the most playful. Tamise Khan, as you can see, he is, hold on, the most fashionable. Ria Betwe Kule, our best actress. Miss Karabo Kodoloso looks beautiful tonight, but she is the best procrastinator. Kamolelaka is the most outspoken. Kamoletuka for her humanitarianism. Zahra Lunat for being the most compassionate learner. Nathan Loshima for his excellent manners. Aidan Lowe for being the most bubbly. And Buboni Mabuza for being our Sam the main man. Tariq Mohammed for having the most respectful demeanor. Z for having the rosiest cheeks. Tulani for rapping everything. Nububo Makavu, our Mr. Manners. Latita Makubalo, besides the tongue, the most spirited dancer. Nolutando Mapela, always thinking we forget her name and constantly asking. We know it, we know it. Matthew Michelle for being a really, and I'm sure you can vouch for this, a really, really good friend. Masejo Mataje for being our brine out girl. Farhan Matwadia for the most hardworking. Yusuf Matwadia, one of our most passionate academics. Miss Ayanda Mavimbela for being the most sincere. Anita Mbutia for your positivity. Tlolom Dakane for his hidden artistic talent. Jordan Mizra, she is our great peacemaker. And Tando Mketo, often in our office, the most affected by eating sweets. I don't know why. Nafisa, from the first day she joined us, will always be affectionately known as Miss Fish and Chips. Christy Makari, the best fumbler when asking and answering questions. She just can't find her words. Wepelo Mtambo, the most mischievous. Solofelo Modisele for always chewing gum. Arifa Mohammed for being our great storyteller. She tells the best stories. Abdul Burhan Mohammed for asking Mr. Strauss 6 or 7 times in his lessons, "Can I please have some water, sir?" Simi Mohammed for your integrity. Lebo Mokwena for loving the spotlight. Sepan Mokua, the best walker with lame legs. Kiabetswe Malloy, the best teddy bear carer. Katlejo Monareng, our most frequent office visitor. Nomsa Monchiwa for being the most bossy. Bibi Fatima Musa for the best memory. Lisejo Morena for being assertive. Como Marodi, the best chair lounger. Seja Motapo, for always, no matter what she's doing, whether she's running, standing, sitting, to strapping her bag. Nsoko Moyo, the funniest class comments. Can we change the channel now, please? And Nobutlem Caesar, our tiny star. Mwelezi Mtonti for being the most unassuming performer. Michaela Munyan for being the most friendly. Chetza Muswazi for being the most resilient. Miss Caitlin Naika, the most opinionated. Cameron Naidu, the best class sleeper. Eshan Naidu for being so mature. Lishen, the most easygoing. To Natalia, the most supportive peer. Hassan Lakuda for the best confused face. Joseph and Lovu, as you can see, the longest legs. Sitle and Lovu, I'm sorry boy, but the most romantic. Fulufelo Nemahungani, our mathematician. Andisa Nepfumbada, our best new learner tour guide. She got all the new learners. Take them around the school, don't lose them. Make sure they come back to our office. So you get the tour guide award, Andisa. Amar Newman for always having his earphones somewhere. Around the neck, in the ears, on the shoulders, always. Sanelisiwe Nkobo, the best eyebrow raiser. Ryan Ngubeni for showing kindness to others always. And Mr. Manny Ngubane for being our gentleman. Sibatle Ngubane, our Banyana star one day, we're waiting. Glorious Nkabinde, the best flag keeper. Lebu for making his friends laugh always. Rishile Nkwashu, he is our resident beanie boy. In the middle of summer, beanies on. In the middle of winter, beanies on. Beanie gets confiscated, the next day, beanies on. Nicole Obiako for saying it like it is. Emma Ohanma, she's our little bookworm. Musa Osman for being the most sarcastic. Raisa Pahad, the best high fiber. The first time she did it to me, I was like, what am I supposed to do? And Driti Parbu for the longest eyelashes. Jiten Parbu for being our joker. Akhil Patel, one of the most well-rounded human beings I think I've ever met. Kirti Ben Patel, the best dimples when she smiles. Caitlin Patrick, the most memorable eyes. Owen Pete, the best after lesson greeter. Every day he'll greet his teachers at the end of the lesson privately. Trent Perry, the best daydreamer. Lungelo Puza, he truly has the nicest nature. Alexandria Pillay is our library maniac. And Brooklyn Pillay for being the most fierce. Neha Pillay for being the most diligent. Nicola Raju for your tenacity. Go look it up. Rory's not here. Amy Opala, the craziest energy. Nelia Reddy, the most oversized jersey. Jared Robertson, eyebrows on fleek. Rory, you in the wrong order. Rory Sangram Padile, the best school pants. Zamani Sachiti, the most charismatic learner. Shiham Safton for the best giggles. Shazia Schroeder for her compassion, always. Amos Seleke, being our energy bunny, he's always on a high, this child. Tato Simenya, most infectious laugh. Mohammed Sheikh, our robo guru. Shavag Singh for your confidence, boy. Samantha Lee Smith for being supportive to others, always. Oetu Sabua, our anime fan. Zahir Suleiman, the best at cleaning other people's spaces. I think he's a little bit OCD, so you got the best cleaner, Zahir. And Rosa Stratus for the longest hair. Aisha Suleiman for being extremely hardworking. Shwetanya Tulsi for never failing to hug us. Azania Twala with all her energy, the most easily distracted by anything. Lynn Tim for her unusual laugh. Tando Shabalala for being exceptionally proactive. Now you see, this is why this learner has been awarded the next thing. The most confusing twins. Is it Sakile? Is it Sandile? Sakile, sir. Okay, Sakile, I'm sorry, boy, and I taught both of you, but you two are the most confusing twins. So that is the award you get. We'll always remember you by that. Leon Chuma for being the most proudly African boy I have ever met. Ohense Totetsi, the naughtiest smile. Riachile, the most integrated newbie. Socialite, this child for sure. Sepotwala, really acting every single day like we are really his mother and father. Really, he believes it to his core. Mardia Usman, if you've seen her on the netball court, if you've seen her on the athletics field, the most flexible learner. Yusra Barhead for being a wonderful friend. Enrique van Rooyen for always kicking a ball. Wasim Waja, Mr. Waja, I hope you're here. He gets the award for the best twinning with his dad. I've never seen anyone look more like his father. That's what you get, boys. That's what we remember you by. Asad Walji for being so athletic. Raisa Watson, I hope she remembers this. When we planted our tree, we gave them a little spade and she said, no, I want the big spade. And she did. She used the big spade to put soil on our tree. And last but not least, Dupeng Zhang for really being the most thoughtful learner. Right, finally bringing us to the end of the awards. We have two very special awards to hand out. Our 2017 Success Story of the Year. These awards are given to learners who display incredible growth and resilience in every aspect of their school life. These learners are not necessarily the top sportsman or woman, the top academic, or the top conduct learner, but rather learners who have really made us proud over the course of the year. In 2017, the following two learners have fulfilled these qualities in their own individual ways. Our first learner has had a commendable turnaround in her behavior and her demeanor. She's a wonderful sportswoman and a dedicated academic. Her ability to be accountable and mature has not gone unnoticed. We know that this learner will continue to achieve great things in her life, and we are so excited to see where her decisions take her. Our female success story of the year for 2017 goes to Solofelo Modisa. Our male success story of 2017 has displayed incredible resilience. Despite the many challenges in his path this year, he has risen above the obstacles he faced and continued to behave in a way that makes us proud. His positivity and compassionate nature is commendable, and we know that these qualities will stand him in good stead. The male success story of the year goes to Jaden Chetty. Well done, Jaden, you make us very proud. So, grade 9s, we are proud of each and every single one of you, and we have always tried to notice each and every single one of you, and we always want you to aspire to reach your full potential, whatever that may be.
Good evening, everyone. Before I start on my speech, I do think that it's quite important for me to say thank you to Mr. Strauss and Ms. Dos Santos. I think that we can all agree that you've been very lucky to have them for the last 2 years. And to follow the metaphor, I think that Ms. Powell and I both agree that we are going to be adopting some exceptional kids. So thank you for raising them to be that way. While deciding what I wanted to speak about, I thought that it would be best to try and imitate Mr. Strauss and Ms. Dos Santos in trying to teach you certain lessons. And one of those lessons I've realized that they really try to kind of get home is this idea of excellence. And what does it mean to be excellent? Of course, Mr. Strauss and Ms. Dos Santos have been exceptional examples for you of what it is to be excellent. But I thought I would just chat briefly about what qualities does it take in order to be an excellent person. Pat Riley, a former NBA star, said that excellence is the gradual result of always trying to be better. Former American football player Ralph Marston says that excellence is not a skill, it is an attitude. But I think Aristotle, you should know him as a very famous philosopher who's now dead, said it best. Excellence is never an accident. It is always the result of high intention, sincere effort, and intelligent execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. And that's important, so I'm going to say it again. Choice, not chance, determines your destiny. What Aristotle means is that excellence does not come without the conscious decision to be excellent. If we want to be good at anything, we have to choose to be good at it. So many of us think that we are not talented, that we are not gifted, or that we're not intelligent. We worry that we may never be excellent at anything. But the truth is that none of us are born excellent. We have to become excellent. Then the question is how? When we think about people who are excellent, we can see that all of them have the following qualities. Firstly, and most importantly, they tried. Sometimes we are so afraid of failing that we often don't try at all. Other times we give up after only trying once. And then, more common, sometimes we're just too lazy to even bother to try. The truth is, though, that the only time you really fail is when you stop trying. Most people know of Katy Perry, but they don't realize how the struggle that she went through to become famous. Originally, Katy Perry started as a gospel singer. I don't think you knew this, in 2001. But that first album only sold 200 copies. Okay, not 200 million, 200, that's it. It's about the people in this room. After only selling these 200 copies, the record company that she had signed to closed down. Afterward, Perry switched gears to popular music and moved to Los Angeles to record with producer Glenn Ballard. But in 2003, after signing to Def Jam Records, this contract was also terminated. In 2004, she signed with Columbia Records, but they also cancelled her contract. It was only in 2006, after 6 years of trying, that Katy Perry found success with Capitol Music Group. Today, Katy Perry is worth $135 million. That means, grade 9s, last year, Katy Perry made, in 1 year, 2 billion rand. And this would never have happened if she didn't stop dreaming about being famous and went out and tried to be famous. But Katy also teaches us another very important lesson about excellence, and that is perseverance. Michael Jordan, who I'm sure you all know as a former NBA basketball player, is considered to be one of the best athletes in history. Here are some of the awards that he has won in his career. 6 NBA championships, 6 NBA finals most valuable player. That means he was the best player in 6 finals. He was selected as the NBA All-Star team 14 times, top scorer in the NBA 10 times, and he won the USA Basketball Male Athlete of the Year twice. And yet, Jordan recognizes the importance of perseverance. He said, "I've missed more than 900 shots in my career. I've lost almost 300 games. 26 times I have been trusted to take the game-winning shot and missed. I failed over and over and over again, and that is why I succeed." What Jordan realized is that failure does not mean the end of trying. It just means possibly trying in a different way. Failure does not mean that you have failed. It just means that you perhaps have to change your methods. This is a lesson that can be transferred to every aspect of our lives. The student that gets 99% in the biology exam is more likely to remember the one question she got wrong than the 99 she got right. Research has shown that entrepreneurs whose businesses fail in the first year, are more likely to succeed if they keep trying. And those of you who play sports, you know if you play soccer and you miss a penalty in a game, you are more likely to stay behind at practice to make sure you never miss a game. This is why perseverance is so important. Sometimes it takes the second, or the third, or the 120th time before something works. But those who aim to be excellent do not see failure as the end of trying, but instead see it as an opportunity to learn. Failure is not falling down, but refusing to get up. Lastly, in order to be excellent, we must have knowledge. Do you think Michael Jordan became the star he is by missing practices? Did you know that Katy Perry spends up to a year rehearsing for a 90-minute show? These stars need to make sure that they are prepared for excellence. Michael Jordan would not have been as great as he was if he didn't know the rules of basketball. Katy Perry needs to learn the lines of the words of her songs and the dance moves in order to put on a successful show. And the same goes for you. Without the knowledge that you receive at school, it is near impossible to succeed. Gather all the information you possibly can in the next 3 years. Be curious, ask questions, explore, and most importantly, learn. Fill your brain with, so that when you leave school, you will be prepared for excellence. And always, always remember, excellence is not a once-off destination. It is a journey that requires us to wake up every day and try and persevere and learn, and then tomorrow we wake up and we do it all over again. Excellence is a habit, and unless we strive to be excellent every day, we cannot reach our goals. So, Ms. Powell and I would like to challenge you today. We would like to challenge you to strive for excellence every day in everything you do. Be the most excellent child to your parents. Be the most excellent friend. Be the most excellent student. Excel in the classroom and on the sports field and on the stage. We have all been given talents and abilities, and the real key to success is to convert that passion into excellence. So, those of you who are passionate about sport, how often do you miss a practice? Those of you who are passionate about drama, how often do you miss a rehearsal? If you're passionate about your academics, do you spend your time learning your work? Mr. Strauss and Mr. Santos have been leading examples to us of excellence. Everything that they have taught you in the last 2 years is about being excellent. They have taught you about responsibility, knowing what needs to be done and getting it done, even without being told. They've also taught you about accountability, owning up when you've done something wrong, even if it means getting into trouble. These qualities, along with the other 3 mentioned tonight, are what makes a person excellent. All of us, every one of us present here tonight, all of us have the potential within us to be excellent. And I didn't write this in my speech, but I must mention, it's been such an honor to listen to the awards that you have been given this evening. And I didn't know that that was going to happen, and they didn't know what my speech was, but what that shows, grade 9s, is that you are already excellent, and you are already striving to be the best that you can be. And that is very, very, very positive for Ms. Powell and I. So, before I go, I would just finally like to say that Ms. Powell and I look forward to getting to know you better and together striving for excellence. Thank you.
Alleluia.